In today's video, we have breaking news. The cartel is placing bounties on federal law enforcement. Secondly, a traffic accident took place in Chicago that led to members of neighborhoods attacking ICE officers. And finally, Charlie Kirk was recognized by the president with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. In all these stories, we're going to show you what both sides are saying and then give you the bottom line.
Judy, wait 1 second. Okay. I see Chicago police are arriving and putting themselves in the middle of the situation right now. It appears there might be someone in command, from what I can see, approaching the area. I'm not sure if this is in an attempt to start dispersing the crowd, but we have just in the last few seconds seen Chicago police, who had remained at bay, now starting to put themselves in the middle of the, oh God. Protesters are starting to throw rocks. We're going to get away from the scene right now, Judy.
Okay, Michelle, you take care of yourself. I'm going to let her get off the phone. We really appreciate it. Get to a safe place. So what you're watching, what you continue to watch, is exactly what Michelle has been describing. This, again, at the intersection 105th and Avenue N. Last Michelle said as protesters started throwing rocks, and you can see that there is some chemical being deployed right there at this intersection.
All right, it's another day and more chaos in Chicago. This time it involves ICE officials that were involved in a traffic crash. And people of the neighborhood are trying to get them out of there by throwing rocks at them. I mean, this is what it's come to. These people continue to take matters into their own hands and believe they must be the ones to fight against ICE. So as you guys can see here in the headline, the local media isn't helping either, because the way they are describing it is tear gas used by federal immigration agents following East Side traffic crash, neighborhood uprising. Now, I don't know about you, but when I read that, it sounds like it's the ICE officials' fault, okay? I mean, these people are defending themselves at best, all right? Now, I'm going to read more of this article, but let's hear a little bit more about the reporting and what's taken place.
The Chicago Police Department says that it was not involved in any of the federal operations occurring at that location. They did go to the scene. They documented the traffic crash. Additional Chicago Police Department supervisors arrived on scene to make sure that they are ensuring that there's, the correct crowd control response, that the traffic investigation is moving smoothly. While they were doing that, a crowd began to form as federal authorities were leaving the scene. And again, Chicago police say that members of CPD tried to de-escalate that situation so that everybody would remain safe. Community members were continuing to gather at that location. That's when individuals began throwing objects at the federal agents. And the Chicago Police Department says that federal agents deployed tear gas into the street. And they say 13 of their own officers were exposed to the tear gas. They will complete exposure reports. Boris, this is the second time in about 2 weeks that Chicago Police Department officers have been exposed to chemical agents deployed by federal law enforcement. In a prior incident that was very similar to this, that looked very similar to this, 27 officers were exposed to chemical agents detonated by federal agents. After that, the superintendent said that he had a call with federal agents to say how these things were going to go. So, Boris, there are many more questions to answer here, but at this point, what I've laid out for you is our first official on-the-record narrative. Again, this is coming from the Chicago Police Department, Boris.
See, the most important question at this point, based on the reporting, why does federal authorities, particular ICE officers, need to use tear gas? Why are they being put in positions where tear gas is the option for them to use in order to defend themselves? I'll tell you why using 2 points. Let's read it to you. First, it says here, federal agents deployed multiple canisters of tear gas on the far south side Tuesday to quell a clash with residents who demanded the enforcement officers leave the neighborhood. That's point number one. So they have a resistance that they're experiencing when they're doing their job. Second point, at least 100, not one, not two, not 10, 100 neighbors flocked late Tuesday morning to the intersection of 105th and Avenue N following a vehicle crash involving at least one U.S. Customs and Border Protection vehicle. It was not immediately clear how many people were taken into custody. So first, obviously, they're demanding them to leave the neighborhood, and it's 100 of them. So at that point, if I'm a federal official and I'm just trying to do my job and I feel I'm in danger, yeah, I think I'm going to probably deploy tear gas. I mean, what are they expecting exactly? So if you thought that story was crazy, wait till you hear this. There is something called a tiered bounty system that has been placed on the heads of ICE officials paid by the way, South American cartel members. Yes, you heard me right. It's gotten that crazy at this point. And the only media outlet talking about it right now at this moment is Fox News. So here is Trisha McLaughlin on Fox News talking about this striking development. Take a listen.
As we approach it, breaking right now, as we just mentioned, narco-terrorists in Mexico are reportedly working in coordination with domestic extremist groups to place bounties worth thousands of dollars on the heads of federal immigration officers in Chicago. That is according to DHS, who are now slamming what they are calling an organized campaign of terror against agents just trying to do their jobs.
There's a little bit more information on what these bounties look like, how much they are. Criminal organizations in Mexico have begun offering thousands of dollars for the murder of federal law enforcement, with payouts escalating based on rank and action taken. $2,000 for gathering intelligence or doxing agents, including photos and family details. $5,000 up to $10,000 for kidnapping or non-lethal assaults on standard ICE CBP officers, or up to $50,000 for the assassination of high-ranking officials. Are we paying attention here? Do we see what is happening right now? That means the cartel is seeking to murder American citizens who are part of law enforcement. Our ICE officers are facing more than 1,000% increase in assaults against them. Under President Trump and Secretary Noem, every criminal, terrorist, and illegal alien will face American justice. I just wonder, do Democrats have anything to say about a foreign terrorist group seeking to assassinate American citizens? A part of me probably believes they have nothing to say. But here's what Trisha McLaughlin had to say.
It's incredibly disturbing, Sandra. Homeland Security investigations, the FBI, our interagency intelligence partners are really all over this. What we're seeing, as you mentioned, is this tiered system, this coordinated and highly organized waging of war against our law enforcement and a terror campaign against them. We're seeing that they're offering $2,000 for intelligence about our ICE law enforcement agents including their family, to dox them, $5,000 to kidnap an ICE law enforcement agent, and then even more money to kill them. And we've talked a lot about on this program and on other programs on this network about these ICE apps to locate ICE and CBP agents. And it's not just obstruction of justice that we've been seeing with that. We're also seeing this. They're now handing intelligence over to these cartels, these criminal rings, to go after our law enforcement, harass them, dox them, kidnap them, and God forbid, kill them, Sandra. It's very disturbing.
Yeah, here's part of the
During this process, expenses have become a burden, and homeowners have been using their credit cards, and credit card interest rates, I mean, they're even up to 28%, I've heard the other day, which is, I mean, you want to dig yourself into a hole, use credit card debt. And so given that, the cycle of high interest debt makes it hard to stay ahead. And if you're a homeowner, I want you to call my friends at American Financing today. Why is that? Well, because many homeowners are able to see interest rates that have dropped in the low fives. And if you're comparing that to credit card interest rates, it's no comparison. Meaning, if you're looking to take whatever debt you have and find a way to pay it down, American Financing can help you use the home equity in your home to do so. And that's why they're saying they've been seeing interest rates as low as fives when going down that road. So there is an easy path to see how you could finally put your hard-earned equity to work for you. American Financing can help you pay off that expensive debt, free up your cash flow, and keep your budget under control. So bottom line is, their salary-based mortgage consultants are saving customers an average of $800 a month, and you could get started today and maybe even delay your next mortgage payment. So take control today. Make the smart decision. Call American Financing today at 866-890-9392. Again, that is 866-890-9392. Or you can go to AmericanFinancing.net/divorce. All right, so let's just get this straight, because it truly is disturbing. ICE officials were involved in a traffic crash in Chicago early this morning. Over 100 members of that neighborhood where the crash took place surrounded these ICE officers, started to throw rocks at them, and harass them. In response, ICE officers had to deploy tear gas. That's already crazy. Secondly, which is even more crazy, cartel members are paying far left groups to not just target, but potentially murder American citizens who happen to be federal law enforcement. Now this takes us to our next clip, which is an interesting update. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has revoked over 50 visas from politicians who are from Mexico and South America. Take a listen.
The Trump administration has revoked the visas of at least 50 politicians and government officials in Mexico as part of its crackdown against drug cartels and their suspected political allies. According to Reuters, the politicians and officials are members of the country's ruling Morena party, headed by Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, along with dozens from other parties. Their names haven't been publicly confirmed, but at least 4 officials have acknowledged losing visas. A State Department official did not confirm the report, but said that visas can be revoked for a variety of reasons that violate U.S. law and other activities that run contrary to America's national interest. The official emphasized that visas are a privilege, not a right.
So bottom line is, cartel members are about to find out, because I don't believe the president's going to stand for this. I'm sure more is going to come out from all of it, especially these bounties. And again, for the people in the back who disagree with the president, is this what you want? Do you want cartel members funding people to assassinate American citizens on our soil? I'd be interested to hear what they have to say about all that. Okay, let's go to our next story, which is much more positive in a way. And that is about Charlie Kirk. It is his birthday today. Happy birthday to Charlie, of course. His wife is at the White House. He just received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest award a civilian can receive. And here is what Erica Kirk had to say just briefly here. Take a look.
And to the Turning Point USA chapters that are watching all across America right now, you are the heartbeat of this future and of this movement. Everything that Charlie built, you guys are the legacy holders of that. You are living proof that his mission did not die with him. It lives through you. And Charlie always said the next generation will decide whether freedom endures. And because of you, I know that freedom will endure. There was no limit to what he would have sacrificed to defend freedom for all. And if the moment had come, he probably would have run for president, but not out of ambition. He would only have done it if that was something that he believed that his country needed from a servant's heart standpoint.
Yeah, the one thing I took away from what she had to say about Charlie is something that every man must live with if he plans on having a successful life. And that is purpose, a mission. And that purpose is always rooted in the service of other people. We all have our own different ways of doing it. It's the gifts and talents God has blessed us with and things we've developed over a period of time, also known as skills. And we should be using that to serve our brothers and sisters. And I believe Charlie Kirk did that at the highest level. It's always the great ones that seem to be taken away from us so soon. Yeah, I'm with her on exactly what she said. And every one of us is going to continue to spread the truth, show what both sides are saying, of course, and not be silenced. It's very important for you to stand in or stand up for what you believe and stand firm. Okay, so here's the actual official period where the Medal of Freedom is being awarded. Take a listen.
The Presidential Medal of Freedom is awarded to Charles James Kirk. Accepting on behalf of Charlie is his wife, Mrs. Erica Kirk. Charlie Kirk was one of the most influential American political figures of his generation. At just 18 years old, he founded Turning Point USA and grew it into the largest conservative youth organization in the nation. For over a decade, he tirelessly traveled the country, leading a movement to restore respect for our founding principles, reawaken our national identity, and inspire a renewed spirit of religious devotion. He was one of the great debaters and communicators of his time. Despite receiving repeated threats, he remained undeterred and modeled courage, logic, humor, and grace to the next generation. On September 10th, 2025, at age 31, Charlie Kirk was assassinated while addressing a group of students. The United States honors him as a martyr for truth and freedom.
And the other thing that's great about what he was able to accomplish, he did it as a conservative, a Christian conservative, which I think is probably somewhat dangerous today. Okay. I mean, these establishments, Hollywood, universities, media, they don't like conservatives. Conservatives don't really have a voice in these institutions. That's why you go on any university, it's like 100 professors are liberals and one is conservative. There's a reason for that. That's why on ABC, CBS, NBC, you don't see conservative commentators showing up on there. Unless an interview is being conducted of a politician who serves in Congress, you're not going to see them. You don't see Hollywood promoting conservative voices. They're silenced. So he was able to build all of this as a Christian conservative. It's so interesting. It's greatness is what it is. Now here's Victor Davis Hanson giving his take about how he remembers Charlie Kirk. Take a listen.
I think he was the brightest and the most successful political activist of either persuasion, left or right, that we've seen in 50 years. And he was not what the left said about him. He was a kind person. He tried to open dialogue. I met him. I knew him. I did a show, and I really had a lot of respect for him. And he didn't go to college, and he sort of reminded people, you can be bright, successful, and maybe you shouldn't go to college in some cases like I did. And he was an autodidact. He still loved learning. He was very inquisitive. He was self-taught, and he was just a very impressive guy. And it's one of the great tragedies of our age that somebody did that. It was horrible what happened.
Yes. And Victor there pointed to something I truly believe in. I was talking about it on a live stream the other day, where an educated person is not a person who has all of these credentials and education from these high, respected institutions and universities. No, an educated person is someone who has a goal in their mind, an idea of what they want out of life, and they get out there and they make it happen. And they don't have to do it by violating the rights of others. That's exactly what Charlie did. He did it without going to college. That already proves college is a scam at some level. Now, unless you're engineer, doctor, lawyer, etc., I don't have to tell you that, but got to throw it in there because everybody's like, oh. That the point is that any person who puts their mind to something that they want, it can happen. And he's proof of that. And he really did break that paradigm when it comes to college. Okay, now let's go to the president, because he did bring up something that is very important about what's happening in this country. And we were just going over it with what's going on in Chicago. Here he is talking about those far left groups. Take a listen.
So dearly needed. His example, we've watched legions of far left radicals resort to desperate acts of violence and terror because they know that their ideas and arguments are persuading no one. They know that they're failing. They have the devil's ideology, and they're failing, and they know it. They feel it, and they become violent. They seem to become very violent on the left. They've rammed vehicles into federal law enforcement, fired sniper rifles at ICE agents, and me, But I made a turn at a good time. I turned to the right. Charlie couldn't believe it, actually. He said, how the hell did you make that turn? I said, I don't know. But fired rifles and threatened the lives of our Supreme Court justices, our great justices. They have to be protected. We just issued a lot of money, $60 million, to protect the Supreme Court justices. Very important. We can't let anything happen. In places of worship, we're protecting our people.
Yeah, you see, the most important question for me is, why do these violent individuals from the left start to do the things that they are doing? Because that is the source of the problem. If we can answer that, then we could figure out why they're doing what they're doing and maybe do something about it. Maybe, maybe not. But I'm going to tell you why it's happening. It all starts with an idea in a person's conscious mind. Everything that we are in this world, in your life, it starts with a thought. It's the way you think. And unfortunately for people on the left, they think from a place of violence. They think from a place of they have to physically fight, take matters into their own hands. And it happens at the basic level of decency. Meaning what? Today is Charlie Kirk's birthday. And instead of, a normal person who's in charge of their faculties, if you disagree with them, you wouldn't say anything about it. You would go about your day. But instead of them doing that, they think it's a smart idea to celebrate George Floyd instead. This happened at a university today. Let me show it to you. Take a look.
As most of you probably know, well, today was Charlie Kirk's birthday. It was also George Floyd's. George Floyd, unlike Charlie Kirk, is not known for spreading hate, but for paying the ultimate price of living as a black man in America. Kirk and Floyd might be held in opposition to each other today, but I won't pretend that the two murders are comparable. George Floyd's murder was a symptom of a country built on centuries of white supremacy and police brutality. And when we honor his death, we honor thousands of black Americans who have been killed by police brutality. When people talk about honoring Charlie Kirk, what are they honoring? We know from people who have had their jobs and life threatened for daring to speak against Charlie Kirk that he's not being remembered in the name of free speech. When threats are being made towards black students across the country in response to his death, when classes are being canceled in fear of violence from his followers, what is being honored? So many people are scared right now, scared of violent repression from fascists that claim to champion free speech. To everybody who is scared right now, here right now, or just passing by, know that you have the right to be afraid, but you also have the right to stand up. Do not let yourself be intimidated. Do not let yourself be bullied by the spineless bigots relying on your silence. We know that what we are saying is not wrong, and we will not let them silence us.
Okay, well, one thing that I heard there that I definitely disagree with is that black people are being targeted because of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I don't know how you make that connection. I thought this was the university where you're supposed to present facts. But of course, that has gone out the window as well. Like I told you guys, a person's behavior starts at the basic level. It's just the ideas that they are continuing to consume. That's why social media truly is a problem and can be toxic, because the algorithm will program you to believe that the world is a certain way. That's why you got to get out of there, put your phone down, travel a little bit, deal with different personalities. That's why my time in service in the Army for 13 years was amazing. I got to meet so many people from different religions, ages, heights, weights, skin color, all that stuff. And you realize that we're not really different. We're actually all the same. I mean, we all bleed the same color and we're all from the same country. What separates us is what's going on in here and definitely what's in here. And unfortunately, like I continue to say, the mind of people on the left have definitely been contaminated and infected with woke ideology, again, that is rooted in violence. When you start talking about fascism and we got to fight back, it already sounds violent. You can't help but get more physically active and energetic, looking to do something. So anyone who's not in charge of their faculties eating that up, they will turn violent. It's only a matter of time. And now we go to our next story. So this is coming out of Wisconsin, and it continues to demonstrate how unhinged Democrats truly are. So at this farmers market, I guess a Democrat group who were handing out wristbands, to members of or people that were there at the farmers market, the wristband read, "Is he dead yet?" And they were giving this to people they thought were Republicans. Take a look of Democrats. When they get caught in a scandal, they disappear. They don't want to face the camera. They don't want to face the music because they're allergic to accountability. This happens all the time. I mean, I saw this in California so many times when people were complaining about Oakland. None of the leaders in Oakland were nowhere to be found. They were all home. They were never at the office. So I'm not shocked by this either. But more importantly, is he dead yet? What company actually prints those wristbands? I mean, I think that is interesting. Okay, of course they'll be allowed to set up because, again, people are not really serious about accountability at times. Because when the rubber meets the road and it's time to make a hard decision, most people just compromise instead of standing firm and doing the right thing. When you have a political group handing out wristbands that say, "Is he dead yet?" that group needs to be put on punishment at a minimum. Not a talking to, not a nice worded letter. No, we're not going to see you for a while. Because if you don't do that, they'll just keep repeating the behavior. And I'm sure you guys agree with me. So why don't I hear from you guys in the comment section to these stories today? I mean, let's just start with the ICE officials being targeted, bounties on their head from cartel members. Then you got 100 members out of Chicago threatening and harassing, throwing rocks at these ICE officers that led to them deploying tear gas. What do you make of all that? Do you believe it's basically a war at this point? It's really interesting. And then Charlie Kirk was celebrated at the White House. Happy birthday to him. Continue to pray for his family. Turning Point USA. I thought it was a great ceremony, of course. But give me your thoughts about the University of Minnesota wanting to continue to smear his name, which I understand is free speech. But then they want to recognize George Floyd. I'm not getting that exactly. But give me everything you got and your thoughts in the comments section below. Now, this takes us to our next video, where Democrats have publicly issued a shocking threat against the president and his supporters and people within his administration. They say that if they reach power again, they will prosecute their political opponents with everything that they have. So if you guys missed out on that update and more from yesterday, all you have to do is click on that video because it's coming up right now.